Hello there, thanks a lot for dropping by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and boy, Louis Armstrong and his All-Stars with this tour blank concert poster that is just unprecedented either before or after, I'm absolutely sure. I mean, here in my video blogs, I'm always talking to you about, tour blanks where the date up top and the venue and the city and ticket information changed, right? But a tour blank where the musicians change? Man, only in jazz would this concept be feasible. So, as early as the fall of 1956, at least that's the earliest one I've ever seen, this red and black, concert poster window card first appeared, and it's a great idea. I mean, you've got Louis Armstrong, the master, and 6 blank white diamonds, and they'd be swapped out with pictures and names as his touring lineup changed. Now, many of these All-Stars played with Louis for over 10 years, and sometimes we're talking about 300 plus gigs a year, wow. But many others were transitory and came and went fairly fast, so this concept really played out nicely. So I'm going to show you a combination today of both real posters, this one's a real poster, and photograph enlargements to really get the point across of how this tour blank evolved. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at a picture of the oldest one. So this is the one from the fall of 1956, and was there an earlier one? Maybe one from 55? I doubt it, possible, but I'm thinking not likely. This one was from Wood Auditorium in Mount Vernon, New York. And interestingly, the very first design of this tour blank didn't have a 6th diamond. As you can see, instead it says plus noted jazz stars. So they started off with just 5 white diamonds. And taking these diamonds in order, starting with the upper left, you do have Billy Kyle on piano, then you have Barrett Deems, Louis' mid-50s drummer, trombonist Trummy Young, who was in the middle of a 12-year run, clarinetist Edmund Hall, who had replaced Barney Bigard the year before, and then vocalist mainstay Velma Middleton, who'd been with Louis since the late 1940s and would go into the early 1960s. Then we go to 1957 and Lincoln, Nebraska for this concert poster, and as you can see, the 6th diamond has been added, and in this case it's occupied by Squire Gersh, who played tuba and double bass for Louis for just a short period of time. And for 1958, we're back to the real poster that I started with from Glenwood, Minnesota. And this has 2 changes from the 57. First of all, interestingly, the drummer is completely gone. There's just a blank diamond there now. And in this particular diamond down here, you now have Mort Herbert on bass. So as long as I've got the real McCoy here, I can show you a couple more details. Down here in the bottom of the red area, it does say Decca and Columbia Records. And then down there in the white margin, Associated Booking Corporation, Joe Glazier, President, in New York, Chicago, and Hollywood. And then let's not forget the poster printer themselves, Murray Poster Printing Company in New York City there in the lower left corner. And for 1959, I'll show you one here from Houston, Texas. And there's one change in the personnel, as you can clearly see. The drummer's chair in this diamond is now filled by Danny Barcelona, where he would stay until the 1970s. Another interesting aspect of this poster is rather chilling. Up here in the venue information, if you can see that small print, it does say reserved colored section. Boy, to see a seg line on any vintage concert poster is always chilling. Okay, we jump into the new exciting decade of the 1960s with, granted, my worst photograph. Sorry about that, it's pretty fuzzy, but Troy, New York. And what's fun about this is the venue information is printed in a couple of different colors, red and black, to match the rest of the poster, so that looks pretty cool. In the middle right diamond here, let me get to him, Edmund Hall is now out on clarinet, and Peanuts Hucko is in. There we go. Sorry, it's fuzzy, you'll have to take my word for it, but Peanuts is in. And for 1961, we're back to a real poster here, the Speed Bowl in Waterford, Connecticut. And the most dramatic difference here is the upper right-hand diamond there. There's no lead vocalist. That's right, Louis was between Velma Middleton and the upcoming Jewel Brown. And below that, as you can see in this diamond, on clarinet you have, ta-da, Barney Bigard, back for his 3rd go-around with Louis. And whoops, actually Barney had left the All-Stars a couple of months before this show. And that leads to a point. You know, these tour blanks are very versatile and flexible, but they can't be up to the second or minute or week or sometimes either month. I think maybe up to the season might be a good way of putting it. So, you know, every so often by the time, you know, the posters are printed sometimes a couple of months ahead of time and an All-Star has moved along. So I'll try to point that out. And in this case, Barney Bigard had. Okay, and then I'm going to skip 1962 simply because I don't have one to show you, even an image. And we go to 1963 from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And the entire right side of the poster is interesting. The three All-Stars there on the right. You've got on top to bottom Jewel Brown, the vocalist now, and double bassist Arvell Shaw for his third stint with Louis. So why are they still misspelling his name with just one L? I don't know. And Joe Derensborg on clarinet and sax. And then here's a real poster from the following year, 1964, and for the first time I can tell you, no personnel changes year to year. So, but why would I bother showing this to you? Because, talk about a collector's item, this is wonderfully and fully autographed by the band using some kind of grease pen or blue crayon. There's Louis' signature right there above my fingers. And then it's funny the way Trummy Young signed his right there above my finger. Not his name, he signed it Big Chief and gave himself a headband with feathers, glasses, a mustache, and a goatee, having some real fun with that. Now there's another reason this poster is really fun too, even though it's got the same musicians besides being autographed. This is May 4th. Of 1964, that is the exact week in Billboard magazine that Hello Dolly ascended to #1 and knocked the Beatles out of first place for the first time in 3 months. All of February, March, and April, the Beatles had been top of the charts, and finally Louis Armstrong came along and knocked them out, and this is the exact week. So that's really fun double cachet for this poster. And for the next image to show you, we go to 1965 December, meaning we're jumping ahead a year and a half. And notice how Murray has moved the white venue box with the information from the top down to the bottom of their posters. That was a permanent change, as you'll see going forward. And this was a very busy venue box. Look at all those different kinds of fonts and all kinds of fun information to inform punters about tickets and promotions. But 3 musicians from 1964, the year before, are now gone. Wow, so that results in not just the one blank diamond that you see, but wait a minute, what's this? 2 new players that are unidentified on the poster? My goodness, that's a rip-off. Oh boy, there you've got Tyree Glenn on trombone, and over here, unidentified, you've got multi-instrumentalist Eddie Shue. But again, by the way, Shue had left the band a few months earlier. But how could they possibly strip in photos, Murray, and not, you know, give name checks for the players? That's just crazy. That's messed up. I don't get that at all. So let's see. This is 65. 66, I do have an image, but there's 0 difference from this. And then for 67, I don't have an image. And that leads us to the last poster of this run from 1968. Yep, here it is, the latest one of this series that I've ever seen from 1968. And it's for 2 full weeks at New York City's Latin Quarter. And this has 3 personnel changes. In the upper left, you have now Buster Bailey on clarinet. I'll get in closer for you. And in the lower right, you have Marty Napoleon now with his second stint on piano. And in the middle right, you have Buddy Catlett on bass. And I love the way the venue information, among other things, does say, you know, it's not just, all the other posters were for one show, one night. This is for 2 weeks, and it does say first New York Cafe appearance in 6 years. That's really fun. Wow, there you have it, 13 years inclusive. Boy, that's quite a run. And you know, one of the fun little things I find really amazing is, you see all these little white and black stars scattered throughout the poster? Well, they're exactly the same here in 1968 as where they were in 1956. So, you know, Murray Poster Printing Company made this design and they stuck with it through thick and thin. Just awesome. So please let me know if you see of one from later, you know, after spring of 68 or before the earliest one I showed you from November of 56. I'd love to know about it. In fact, I'd love to know about any that have different diamond people than I've shown you, because I showed you everything I had. Thanks a lot for dropping by today. Great fun, wonderful tour de force, 13 years inclusive. Wow. and Louis Armstrong. Have a nice day. We'll see you next time soon. Bye-bye.